Hold on to your ghosts.
Oh yes, the battle lines have been drawn.
Amuse me, Traveler Spawn.
You're on the edge of victory. Annihilate them.
As if my life wasn't hard enough already.
If you think this armor's impressive, you should see me out of it.
Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode. This is episode 3 of Fireteam Misadventure, our fun Destiny show with Bulletheads that we just love doing. And this is our first time we're actually live, so this isn't pre-recorded. Because there's so much to talk about, there's no point to
That's when the shit comes out.
Yeah, so y'all just, whatever happens, just be prepared. So we're just going to be talking about our experience with Beyond Light 2, and of course, Day 1 raid issues. So I'm one of your really fun, enjoyable, I don't know how to describe my Guardian style, insane sometimes. I am Slayton, and I'm joined by my normal fun co-host. Everyone, here's Arctic.
Hi, I'm Arctic. I'm cold because I live in Alaska.
Hey, it's getting cold here in Texas, so don't, like, I'm all bundled up today. They say it's not happening. Then we have the real DP.
Yo, what's going on? I'm hot because I live in Florida.
Yeah, with all the crazies. So,
hey, that's us, baby. Hey, look, you don't look my way, I won't look yours.
Wrong way.
And then we have Maddie Bugs. She's just laughing at me. She's like,
nothing.
okay, whatever.
She's nothing.
I'm in South Dakota, so I'm trying to.
Okay, so before we start,
maybe cold, depending.
I want to show off a little bit because Maddie should have got my package today, but she didn't. And I don't want her to wait to open it till we do another show in 2 weeks. So I got a resin printer, and I make things. Me and my friends, we make things all the time. I really wanted to make Destiny Christmas ornaments. And so what I did was I made little ghost Christmas ornaments that look like gingerbread. Nice. And they have everyone's little gamer tag on it. So Maddie's getting one of these in the mail.
Nice.
Arctic, I'm feeling a little brokenhearted, betrayed, and left out of this situation.
So the problem is I started this when I first started Bulletheads, and I made some for a couple of my family members that play, and I had an extra one. I was like, Maddie, since you helped me so much, I want to make you something. Then once people saw what I was making, they all wanted one. So I'm going to make more of these in the fall. So nice. I'm going to offer these to Bulletheads next year, but I'm going to make a different one for the two of you that didn't get one this year. So it'll be the next design for the following year. Sweet. But yeah, Maddie, this is what you're getting with a silly hat and everything.
Maddie gets the beta and we get the refined
I got a perfect spot on the tree.
Yeah, so
underneath.
I made these. I'm probably going to put the photon file on the Discord if anyone wants to print it, if you have a resin printer. Because it's already sized, it's already hollowed out. It's the 2 halves. You just put it together.
Looks good, man.
I really wanted to make them look like gingerbread. So it's got like piping for icing. And these little jingle bells are supposed to be gumdrops because I couldn't find candy in the size of this. And then, of course, the vinyl lettering for everyone's gamer tag. So yours actually says MDBG for Maddie Bugs.
Okay.
So my family's getting a bunch of these for Christmas. They're all excited. They can't wait to get their hands on them. But like I said, I'll put the photon file on the Discord soon. And I will make some more to offer them to the Bulletheads next year. But I didn't realize how big it was going to be until I showed one person, and then they showed it to 50 other people. And now the rest of my family's like, where's mine? All my friends are like, where's mine? You guys are like, where's mine?
You gonna say it? Are you going to say it, Arctic?
Go for it.
That's what she said.
So
they didn't realize how big it was.
I hope you enjoy it, Maddie. It's been lots of fun making them.
We can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited how good they came together. The little silly hats were hard to make because I've never dealt with craft fur before, and of course the crafters, they have their own initiation. So they let me cut it wrong, and I had fur all over my fucking house, just so you know. there are still little bits of fur here and there. So yeah, they came over and laughed at me. I was like, you should use an X-Acto knife. I was like, fuck you guys. You could have told me that to begin with. All right. So this is the whole show. We're just going to talk about our experience with the Beyond Light and what we think. And then we're going to talk about the day one raid because Maddie and I were on a team and DP and Arctic were on a team and we have stories.
Oh.
So many stories. So let's just kick things off with what we think about Beyond Light now that we've had it for a little while and our overall experiences and thoughts on it. I'm going to start with Maddie.
I've got a couple different things. So first of all, I don't think this is the last we're going to see of, I'm drawing a blank. Aramis, yes. I mean, the fact that she's frozen on the top of a platform, just hanging out. And
spoiler alert, by the way.
The
Spoiler,
distance.
yeah.
It seemed, you would think people went through the storyline by this point, but it also seemed real easy to get to beat her. Like, even when we did Forsaken, I mean, you had to track down 7 different people before you finally got to Aldrin. So it seemed like it was real easy to get to her, and I really don't think that's the end of her story.
No.
I'm waiting for that. I was a little disappointed in... I was so looking forward to Aldrin joining us, the Crow, and I gotta tell you, a little lackluster on it. I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah. I don't think this is his end either, though.
No, and I'm betting down the road there's going to be a lot more. But to introduce the guy we've been hating for the last 2 years, and all he gets is a little cutscene saving Osiris, and then telling us we have to go to his employer. And then we end up talking to Spider, and now he's a vendor. That's it. That's all we get from Aldrin right now. I mean, that was a drop ball.
That was definitely a drop ball.
Yeah, I was expecting more. But I don't know. I'm wondering if with the Fallen aren't going to have a real big play in this season, if they're not going to have a big play going against the darkness or against the light. There's so many aspects about the Fallen that's being played out. I'm not really sure which direction they're going to go in. But I'm also let's just say I was shocked to find out who Banshee really is.
Oh yeah.
Not expecting that.
Sure.
I totally thought that.
If you don't want to know who Banshee is, or you don't know so far, then turn away from this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There will be spoilers here.
There will be
watch
spoilers
this when you're ready.
Yeah.
I was confused by that thing. I had to ask you guys to kind of explain it somewhat because I had the wrong idea of
it was
Clovis
crazy,
to begin
man.
with. So I think that's where my mind was not connecting the dots, and then it connected the dots. I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Well, I had said before, I was always expecting, or maybe not expecting. I had this secret suspicion that maybe Clovis Bray would be in an EXO, but would end up being our raid boss. Or
that was half the community.
Like as part of getting into the Clovis Bray buildings and to move forward and to get down deep to find all the secrets, we were going to have to defeat him. So in that aspect, I'm maybe a little disappointed that he's not the big enemy I thought he was going to be. But on the other hand, we start finding out all this weird shit about the whole Bray family and the Exo Stranger. Like, how is she time traveling? I don't get that part. Maybe someone can explain to me. The fact that Anna really is a blood relative, not adopted, because her daddy liked to get it on with some
half sisters.
Yeah, half sisters. But this my mind is blown by the whole Exo Stranger story. Her talking about different realities, different dimensions, different timelines. And I know, we've got the Vex in play here. They're obviously going to play a part in it because that's really the reason that the Exos were created, was because Clovis Bray reached out to the garden and found his secret. But
see, I have my own theories on the time travel thing, and I'll get to that later.
Okay. But that's
sure.
where my question's coming in. And then last but not least, how many times are we going to kill Tannix? Seriously,
Four.
At least
4
6
right
more
now.
No, we're at
Are
7.
Are we at 6?
He was still 6 before 7 with the raid.
And I almost forgot. What's this body Aramis was talking about? When she told
That was either the fallen exobody that Atrax put her consciousness into, or it was Tanix.
Or it was Tanix, yeah.
All right, so we've heard from Maddie. Let's hear from DP.
And
sorry,
right,
Bob, you have more?
So far,
no, you're good.
I love Beyond Light. I love Europa. I love that this is by far the biggest destination I think we've ever had in Destiny history. Now, I didn't think that so much until after the Lament quest, and we went way down into Clovis Sprays. Like, it is massive. So I'm really enjoying all the scenery. I'm enjoying the gameplay. There's a few things I'm a little disappointed with. Like Maddie said, the overall story with Aramis, I thought I would see more. The raid boss being Tanix, I was like, really? Tanix again? And I guess the difficulty of the raid right now, that you can just breeze through it. But beyond that, I mean, I don't like stasis in PvP, but I love stasis in your PvE. So I'm gonna leave that with. But the theory of the time travel is the radiolarian fluid. She's made from it. She was the only one successful.
All exos are made of radiolarian fluid.
Right. So my thing is, she was special in some sort of way, right? Isn't that the way they explained it? She was some kind of special exo or something. She was the.
I mean, no more special than being Clovis Bray's granddaughter and having the same degenerative disease that Clovis Bray had.
Right. So that's kind of my thought is, I think all exos that are made from the radiolarian fluid can time travel, just like the Vex, because they're made from it too. But they haven't figured out how, and she has, because she's from the future. Maybe that has something to do with it, because no one else can time travel but Vex and her. And she's from the future, where they've probably discovered that you can use the fluid in another way.
In her future, the darkness has already consumed everything.
Yeah, so, and she had to kill Anna, which I thought was kind of cool. I was like, that's right. But no, I'm really enjoying everything except for PvP right now. And I am saddened. Very sad.
All right, let's go to Arctic.
I tried my best to go into Beyond Light with 0 expectations, because it is Bungie we're talking about. There's bound to be at least a few balls dropped. No, that's what she said, joke. But it's bound to happen. Europa is really cool to play on and interact with. It's got the most atmosphere, and it's definitely the largest location that we've ever gotten. But my heart's in PvP, and I echo the sentiment of DP. It's not great. It's pretty anti-fun right now. Going into comp with trials being pushed back multiple times now. Went and got my final legend for Unbroken, and that was about as painful as pulling teeth with a butter knife. Beyond Light is fun, but there's
a lot.
I just need to continue to keep my expectations in check. That is all.
I had the day one problems where we couldn't even get into the game for hours. And then because I was focusing on getting ready for the day one raid so much, I kind of raced through the entire story, and it was really short. I get it. Like a Maddie, I wanted more at the end of it, and I have a feeling there will be more. I think we're going to see more between Uldren and Spider, because that third lore they released that first week was about Uldren in the bar. And they made a specific point to talk about how he's concerned about his ghost warping, where Spider obviously put the stuff in. So he obviously knows something is up. So I think if you didn't have the lore, then you probably wouldn't be thinking the same way I did. I like Europa's weather, and I love the weather system. I think that should be across the board. Like, I want to see storms rage through on Earth. The weather, I think, adds a very different element. But my favorite thing is the stupidest thing is the igloo where you could put trophies, because this is proving you could give us our own ship space where we could customize with our trophy. That's my favorite thing, is putting the trophies where they need to go. I have Tenix's head on the ground. I've got the arm. I've got some Vex thing. I've got the 2 holler. Like, that is my favorite thing that they've done. I was like, why don't you just let us do this in a ship where we could show weapons that we have that we love and actually find trophies to customize your own personal area.
So kind of like your Borderlands 3 did.
Yeah, give us our own home where people can come and see, oh, you actually did that. You actually like something really fun. That's my favorite part of it so far. And I 100% agree with you that PvP is broken, but Maddie and I had the most fun on Mayhem because it was literally ice and void everywhere. Like, you would hear it, and we would just run and jump into the middle of nowhere because I did not enjoy.
It will find you, and you will be frozen, and then you will die.
No
And then it
matter
will
what
respawn,
you're
and
doing.
you will freeze, and you will die.
Well, it was really funny because I got a lot of triumphs I would never have thought I've gotten because of it. But I did not enjoy the grind to 12:30 because it became a task. Because Matt and I are one character. I think we both hit it like at lunchtime the day before the raid. Like 24 hours before the raid, we were still on there working it. And we hit it.
We did it.
So
We did it.
I didn't have as many weapons to take in with me, but we still had fun. But I did not enjoy the grind. It made me not like Destiny, and I don't think that is a smart way to handle things, because you're supposed to, like, I get if you have multiple characters, it's super easy because you just swap them, but you shouldn't have to.
Still tough though.
It's still tough. They should have put the raid off by a week, of course, to fix a couple things. Let us experience Europa more, because we literally, I rushed through everything on Europa. I had to go back and read lore afterwards. I was confused about the Clovis Bray thing. I raced through the story, didn't really pay too attentions to it, because I was singly minded to get to 12:30 because I needed that without the artifact. And so it was like every day we were online playing, every single day. And it got to the point where I was like, this isn't fun.
It's a chore.
It is a chore, and they should not have made it that way at all. That's my only problem with the launch of Beyond Light, outside of not being able to get into the game the first day, because that was completely messed up. But overall,
that.
Yeah,
see,
I mean,
I've never had that problem. The only one I did not take off was Shadowkeep. I didn't take off for the launch of Shadowkeep, but I've taken off the launch of every single thing since Destiny 1 for at least 2 or 3 days, and I've never had this problem before. But I heard Shadowkeep was the exact same way. So maybe
the leveling right now is archaic. It is there to stonewall you at every possible opportunity to force you into the 3 main playlists that have had nothing done to them in this expansion. You are still playing the same strikes. You're still doing Gambit with no new maps. You are still doing PvP with no new maps.
And that was just dumb. I mean, I enjoyed Gambit. I mean, I've never gotten this high on my rank in PvP ever. I think I'm like right below Legend. Like we played so much Mayhem, it was not even funny, because I love Mayhem. But you're right. The ice was everywhere. Like, I would hear it like behind me, and I'd just go run and jump. So I'm gonna go, guys, just jump, and I'd watch him freeze. I don't think they thought about that very well.
Once we figured out that after you got done with the Beyond Light story, you go do a little bit of PvP, get a powerful, and then you just go grind Gambit to fill everything else out, because it was easiest and the fastest way to do it. And Crucible is just not fun right now. You just do that over and over again. I couldn't really play the entire first week, but I was able to get to like 1240 something.
I took advantage of the Lost Sector.
That's
I got one character. I got one character to 1200, and then I was able to bring up the other 2 pretty quick.
That's
everything was fixed by the time I got in there.
I don't like is I love the idea of the introduction of the legendary Lost Sectors, but I don't like them being the only source for the yellow armors.
Yeah, and you're not guaranteed.
I hate that. And you're not even guaranteed that.
No, I went through today before a reset today. I ran 9 times on my hunter, and on the last one, I got the new arms, and I had about 2 more tries on the Warlock, and I didn't get it. So
It's a hard balance because there are people like a couple of us that have everything that there is to get on a character, and you just go get one exotic and you have the new armor.
Yep.
That's not as gratifying, but at the same time, having to stick your nose into the furnace and try and get one of those new pieces of gear that's really good sucks too. So I don't know what the right answer is for that one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed finding them randomly or getting quests for them. Like I enjoyed the Lament quest. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the grenade launcher quest. I don't even think I've started the sniper rifle one.
Oh,
I haven't.
Cloud Strike.
But
I haven't done it yet.
I don't
The quest
see
itself
this.
isn't bad. It's farming the Empire hunts until your eyes bleed.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Empire
a lot of
Hunts is
people.
another thing.
haven't even started.
A lot of
I
people
haven't-
said they had to do it like 30 times, 22 times.
Yeah,
I
having
have
to figure
10
out
clears.
the Wrath hunts was another fun thing. Because when you're with a fire team and you all don't set it right, like it was a big learning curve. But I enjoy the fact that it's partial, open world activity, partial mission.
Well, if you
But-
look on the actual mod, the very first one, you can tell where you're going to go and what enemy that you're doing if you haven't already figured that
Yeah,
out.
but if you could jump in with like my family had already set up some lures and they didn't know what they were doing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we had all these different ones.
That's y'all
And
had
then
to go do.
Austin was following the Triumph, so we knew what we had to, do damage with to get the Triumph for.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of coordinating. But then I learned that even if y'all have different monsters, as long as you all get that beacon to trace, you can do one, then come back, and your trail is still there for whoever's the next person. They'll
Mhm.
follow the tree. You make the fire team, they follow the trail. Then you make the next person the fire team, they follow the trail. So we figured it out. But
My biggest thing with the Wrathborn hunts is my
Too
point that I
easy.
made earlier. Well, not only too easy, but I mean, there's bound to be higher difficulty ones, but it feeds directly back into the same loop of going into the same 3 playlists that have had nothing done to them in this goddamn expansion.
yeah,
As much as I like Crucible, as much as I hate Gambit and despise strikes at points, nothing has been done to them other than getting content removed.
Nothing.
well, I did.
Well, wait,
play-
Strike's got 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
I
bad.
did
Oh,
play the
yeah.
new the
we need
new
some
Omnibus.
new Gambit maps, and Crucible needs some new maps too. Because
How do we not have a Europa themed anything except for the
Nothing.
Glassway? And the Glassway
Nothing.
is literally just horde mode, the strike.
It's pretty easy.
So I feel we could have gotten more. And I think they're setting our expectations to be really low for everything coming forward. A little bit of area here. Like I really enjoy going back to the Cosmodrome, but I think the full Cosmodrome was probably bigger than
It was.
than Europa. is.
Yeah, it's only about half of the
we have
Cosmodrome
nothing
that
that
we had.
takes us there right
Yeah.
now. I have no reason to visit the Cosmodrome.
Neither
Why would
do
I
I.
go there?
I
to
go there to do the weapon bounties. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I go like, remember when this hallway had the insta death knight that would jump out and kill you? / like we were going down memory lane through the Cosmodrome. That's pretty much what it was there for.
yeah.
So
I
my
don't know.
biggest thing is, out of everything that they could have done, the core gameplay loop that they want us to go through for Beyond Light and for Season of the Hunt has had nothing added to it, and
No.
that's what I'm most disappointed about. Next to also their aggressive stance on sunsetting and giving us weapons that we've already had as campaign rewards. Looking at you,
Yes.
Long Shadow.
I was
Yeah.
so mad at that
Oh.
because like because like I said before it started, I am a vanity whore. I will use the weapons that look cool. Like I love all the Black Armory weapons, and I can't use them anymore. I love the raid weapons, but they're going to go out of style at some point in time. And I understand they want you to rotate things out, try new things,
Mhm.
but make it so you want to. Like right now, I'm purposely running around with a sniper rifle, trying to get better with a sniper rifle. It's because I want to. But I
I would
can't take it to like
understand.
Wrath hunts or Empire hunts because I'm not good enough with it. So I'll go back to my things that I know I'm good with.
Yeah, with sunsetting in general, as much as I don't like it, I understand that there is a need for it.
Mhm.
But they took a too aggressive approach with it, and instead of maybe this whole entire last year from Shadowkeep Forward, and including Last Wish in there, keeping all that gear up to date. A lot of that, I mean, you can't use Shadowkeep weapons, and it's still something that's still very much involved with
Relevant.
It's relevant. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I don't. They need to rethink some of this, because the fact that they had to go back through after a week and be like, okay, yeah, we'll bring back Season of Worthy and Arrival's weapons and throw them back into the loot pool because we have nothing to play for.
I'm really disappointed. My entire Last Wish raid armor that I always use is now worthless. Why is it worthless? We still have the Last Wish raid.
Oh, no. See, it's not worthless. You just won't have that 5th mod slot. That's all.
Yeah.
No,
And-
I was told that my Reverie Dawn.
Oh, yeah, that's the...
Reverie Dawn is different from the Last Wish set, but yeah, Reverie Dawn is... You can't use it.
Still,
But
That was my
best-looking
favorite armor set outside of my day-to-day armor set ever. And now it's worthless. Really
right, well, in... The
Beautiful
new
armor.
light, the new light experience goes to the Dreaming City too. So whatever gear that they get there, they're going to immediately trash because it's not useful. There's no point for it.
Nope.
I
So
know that-
I'm going to be sitting here stewing over the fact that I just lost my entire Reverie Dawn set until we get to, what is it, next season? Where we get...
Who knows when Transmog is coming out?
Yeah.
That was my
I'm excited for Transmog. The other thing that I was confused about was I thought they were going to do ghost-like armor where you just skinned your ghost. They gave you a couple slots, but now it's on a per ghost basis, which I get. But I was like, I have all these
Max
ghost
goes
shells,
out.
and
I mean,
I've maxed out like
favorite.
two.
I pick my favorite, throw my favorite mods on there, and then if there is like another secondary ghost that I like, I just throw different mods on there. If it's like planetary materials or a crucible scanner for extra mats or whatever. Cool.
Yeah, I tried to do a Gambit
What's
one.
the point
an
of
open
having
world
more
one.
than 1 or 2 ghosts now? Let's just
No
track
point.
the rest of them.
No point. I have one for each character, and when I say one for each character, I'm sorry, I have one that I switch between each character, so I don't have to use my mats.
Well, I bought the pixelated one just for the raid. That was my one I took into the raid because I spent a lot of time thinking how I looked going into the raid. Like, I think it was 2 hours I spent changing colors and making sure everything looked right. Like, I spent a lot of time prepping to go into the raid, only to get really mad.
I wanna make one more point to DP's comment about mats. It's gonna be annoying that I'm gonna keep bitching about it, but the fact that you cannot buy upgrade modules from Banshee because you don't have the right planetary mats that have been sunset. Big ugh. I need upgrade modules, and I can't because I don't have stuff that's
I
been
know.
taken away.
How much bright dust do you have, Arctic?
You think I'm going to spend bright dust on materials?
No.
I need those
I do.
exotic ornaments, man.
I do. I have 20,000 bright dust, and I just keep getting more because I don't spend it. So what I've been spending it on is concentrated matter gems. And most people who I've said, I'm like, make sure you have your concentrated matter gem. They're like, you mean your finest matter weave? No, concentrated matter gems. Just 200 bright dust, but you get just like the finest your matter weave, but you get upgrade modules.
Yeah, I had the Matter Weave. I went through all of them before the raid.
You can buy them anywhere, any destination. Go to little destinations tab, go over to the store, and you can buy them at any point in time. And they drop frequently.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Bungie puts the sunset materials upgrade modules in their own column and put the other materials for the upgrade modules in the second column instead of us going 3, 4, 5 days without buying upgrade modules.
Arctic's a little heated.
I know
I'm
they
not happy because I can't upgrade my hunter right now.
I noticed they put some mods to find upgrade modules, but I don't think the RNG on them is very high.
No.
I
Because
think
I have
I
yet to
got
see
one
one.
Well,
for
and
like
they don't
10
tell you
matches.
what Spider's selling for the day based on what's needed in the upgrade modules.
Oh my god, when Maddie and I ran to Spider, she didn't have anything to buy what she needed. She was so mad. We
Like,
ran
how
up
much
there.
upgrade? I don't have this. I
All
don't
right.
have that.
So let's talk raid.
Yeah.
Let's talk
All right.
raid. We've all went through the raid, so let's talk raid.
Okay, so let's Maddie and I talk about our fun weekend first. We
Killing me with that Patriots. I'm sorry.
figured out pretty much everything on our own, but I think our biggest problem was that second encounter because what did we spend 16 hours there, even with the break where we took to go to sleep? We didn't finish it till after they turned off challenge mode, and we were there within like we kept checking everyone's stream. We were pretty much on the same token with everybody till we got to that room. I do not understand why they wanted you to grind to get to a point just to make it so that bullets could hit you around corners. And just make it so that challenge mode made it so that you could not get past this room easily. Like, I don't understand why, but we were also started that room very stupidly. We would send the operator buff down to the basement where we were and had the person shoot the boss buff off of us so someone else could grab it and take it upstairs. Like, our first attempts at that room were completely crazy.
Atrax is one of the it's one of these weird encounters where you feel like you're missing something. Like even knowing when you're doing it right, it feels like you're missing something. And I think it's just one of these really weird oddball encounters where it just doesn't feel right. Like it wasn't completely thought through.
I think it's the fact that you don't switch the operator buff like every other encounter.
Yeah.
But you do switch the scanner buff. So it's like, am I forgetting something? No, the operator stays upstairs at all times.
Well,
that's
we were wondering
that's where I was.
Overall if it was our team or if it was the actual mission. We realized it was the actual mission because there was a lot of weird bugs we had talked about. Like I would get an elevator but not be in the elevator and it would just go up, or I'd be in the elevator and the boss would shoot me through the elevator and I would die. Like it was so weirdly designed at the end of the day. Like why would you put two bosses on one side, one on the other, and one in the middle? And it was in this room that they realized I was using Outbreak Perfected. And they're like, well, if he can do it. But what they didn't understand was my Outbreak because I was trying to take care of the flying turrets because they were a pain in the ass. You know, Outbreak Perfected, the more hits you do, it puts SIVA particles on them. And when you shoot someone with SIVA particles, you do extra damage. Well, with my Charge with Light, that's basically melting these turrets down to nothing. So I was sitting here taking massive care because I had to run the middle because whoever was in our middle was having a really hard time with it. Because I was in the red room behind the column because I realized his bullets die right before they hit you. So you can shoot everything in the room and he can't hit you behind that column, period. And so we were having lots of fun with it. I was melting those turrets and most of the people with Outbreak Perfected, that was just a great gun for that part. But it's like it was the last thing they were expecting was, oh, he's using Outbreak Perfected? Like for real? But when you saw the things just go boop and dead, like it was super fast. And then they would spawn SIVA that would attach to the next thing and just keep going. Attach to the next thing, just keep going. Like it was lots of fun. But I almost really wanted to rage quit about 10 hours into that. Because Phil had left the house right when we got into that room and we were so excited. He came back 11 hours later and we were still in that fucking room and he goes, what the hell are you still doing in this room? Like
sounds like my wife. She went to work and came home and she's like, you're still here.
Yeah, like it was just bizarre.
And he looked up.
And so I think Fireman fell asleep at some point in time in that room. And when we picked it up the next day and challenge mode got off, we got through it just fine. But we were
first time we
close.
ran it after challenge mode.
Yeah. We were always so close, but something stupid happened. Either a bug happened or someone would die. We were out of things. But then after that, it was fine. I loved it when it wasn't challenge mode because it felt like we were actually achieving something. And I have to say, my favorite part was bringing the ship down with the nuclear cores. That was my favorite part of the entire encounter. Was let's bring this ship down. That was a crazy room. We had that thing down. It was so much fun. But I've always said they should do matchmaking for raids, and now I really understand why they don't. Because if we weren't talking, we would have not done anything, anything at all. And so I greatly enjoyed it after challenge mode was off, of course. But it was to the point where I don't want to do one of these again. If there's ever a challenge mode, fuck it. I will wait till it's done, run through with people the next
I'll
day
be there.
because I don't have time for that. You know, so
VOG. I really
well,
hope they do it for VOG.
For a while, but I probably still will.
It's fully dependent, and I think this is echoed a lot. The fact that they gave us 11 days to prepare and had it on a Saturday, so that all these people that work their weekday jobs, including myself, had the ability to participate. Because I've participated in day ones before, but I was either unemployed or I was still living at home with my parents, and I didn't need to worry about it.
Do day ones always have a challenge mode?
They do now.
They do now. Because
that was something that started with Crown of Sorrow.
Back in the past, it didn't, because the same 3 teams were the only ones that were able to grind it out like that.
Right, well, and they would release the raids on day of. Like, Crown of Sorrow released 6 hours after that season came out.
And it was Team Redeem, which is Glad and Sweatsickle and all them. Then you have the math class, which is, Dado and his group. And then usually it was like a group of speedrunners, who won, this year?
Luminous.
Luminous.
Yeah. And Clottivity. I can't ever say his name right. But yeah, they were, I don't know. I don't know how they got it done in 6 hours.
I think they need to modify the challenge mode just a little bit because it was too ridiculous, especially for an encounter that made no sense and had too many bugs in it.
Well, and I think what they were expecting was, because I know our team at one point, we were just letting the person who had the scanner just go and shoot the replicant or whatever. And then we did kind of figure out, no, all 3 people need to. But it seemed like with challenge mode, in order to get enough damage to try to make it to that end phase, you almost had to have somebody from the other room coming back and forth to help with the extra damage in order to get that far. Now, once challenge mode was over, you only needed the 3 people. In fact, you have Lament, you need 1 person. Who cares about that?
I don't think the bug with the huge damage increase was a major factor in a lot of people not getting through A-Tracks. I know it was for
the health regen bug.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know our team got them down to 5% health one time. And when we did that, we had him down, and then he jumped back up, and then we had a person, DC, which was happening all night, and then we had a few beaver errors for a few people, just small things like we said earlier, the debuff or the bomb or whatever would drop, and then it would be in the ad spawner, so you couldn't get it, or you couldn't pick it back up after shooting it off, or
the insta wipe, where
the insta wipes.
You would kill the boss and then you'd immediately pop right back up and wipe everyone.
I a lot of the times I had where I was the scanner down low, had that job down pat. Sometimes, and it did happen up top, but it mainly happened on bottom, was I would get it, he's doing his animation, and I look at all 4, and I have it on stream. It wouldn't show up until literally he was about to wipe us. And that happened a lot.
That happened a couple times when I was a scanner as well on the bottom, because I'd be looking and they're like, which one is it? None of them. Oh, there we go. It probably popped up over there.
And then you wipe.
Yeah, I think we got it by technicality because I think they did the bug and it insta-wiped and killed us, but it still gave us the encounter clear. Am I right, Maddie, at that part? We were like, yes! We just all respawned and picked up the chest.
Yeah. Originally there was a big whiteness and I was like, oh, I didn't get it. And then all of a sudden, oh, good. And then little thing, and we got our chest, and I just went, okay. I don't know.
We're pretty excited.
Whatever. Let's move on. I'm done with this encounter.
So my last thoughts about the raid is I loved our team. Fireman and I made a badass duo. We were just kicking ass. I kept running in weird directions when I was with Iron Spider, and he's like, "Stop moving!" I was like, "I'm about to explode!" But it was lots of fun. It was
Iron Arachnid, not Iron Spider.
Yeah, Iron Arachnid.
One of the two. It's the same meaning.
When he and I were teamed up because Fireman had to leave, and we had this weirdly weird run of killing the boss, and I got the ball and it's about to explode. I'm trying to get close to where I need to go. And he's like, I'm right behind you. Stop freaking moving. Like, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the team, and I really liked experiencing it with Arctic Zone. Was that the dude who came in when Fireman left?
Arctic Zone.
Yeah, Arctic
on
Zone.
Sunday. Yeah, and
That's who I raid with daily now.
And,
over on PC.
He was,
Fireman had to leave. Arctic Zone came in and helped us get that final clear.
and we got it cleared out. So I enjoyed it. And that's why I'm excited to go through it with you guys again, except for the speeder bike part of the bike, because I can't drive Sparrows very well. I think Maddie and I kept falling off the edges. She was like, I'm going.
Let's refer to Maddie and her sparrowness.
See, I thought I was bad.
We went in the next day, I think it was, or the day after, something like that. And Maddie jumps in, and I could already tell she was a little bit perturbed. And
it was a Monday.
She instantly was like, I can't see 5 feet in front of my freaking face, man. The stupid storm, and I can't just I can't see where I'm going. Literally, I can't see. And then you got one person going, yeah, come on, let's go. Maddie's like, where do you want me to go? I can't. So what ended up, happening is I went all the way back. I got on the pike so she could get her Triumph. I got on the pike. I drove it within 5 feet of the last bubble, jumped off, had her jump on and drive it in, and she got the Triumph.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the raid, she was aggravated the entire time. I was like, oh boy.
So let's back up a little bit. You want to talk about? Oh, sorry.
Hold on, Maddie. What was your thoughts about our day one raid team, and what we did?
Oh, it was good. I was just gonna mention, even though DP has the story of me raging over that, even during the first time, I'm hanging out in the back, kept dying over and over, and just about everybody's at the end. I'm like, I don't know where you guys are at. I'm so dead. I'm so dead back here. I mean, I was kind of getting a little ragey even when we started day one because of that stupid Sparrow BS. Of course, that's before I found the little cheese where you can become
that's what I want to do tonight before it goes away, because that's the only way I'm going to get this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not a Sparrow person. There's a reason that I didn't do SOTP very often, because I hated the Sparrow race. I suck at it. I'm bad. But that night with DP, having to use that fallen dredge or whatever it's called.
Pike, yeah.
And he's actually very nice on what the words that came out of my mouth, because I probably made a sailor.
I was very nice. There's a lot of F-bombs in there. I was like, Maddie, she goes, you know what? I need another beer. Hold on. And she goes, gets another beer, and all you hear is crack. I was like, I got you, Maddie. Just get to the end, and I will go get the pike.
Yep. So
I think we finished ours at 8:30 Sunday night. And that was after we took an 8-hour sleep break and a 2-hour afternoon because you had to go pick up your dog, I think.
Yeah.
But we did finish it in the first weekend, so rock on.
Arctic, what did you want to back up to, you said?
What is our experience with day one raid?
Yep. So now it's time to hear about DP and Arctics, because we kept checking to see where you guys were at, because there was no way you were going to get ahead of us.
We never passed Atrax. At
15 hours in the same fucking encounter.
I had that bottom on lock, boy. Me and
we all had it on lock.
Oh yeah,
just we couldn't pull it together.
Just freaking bugs, man. And then we just had one person that literally kept DCing the entire from the start of the raid all the way to H. Huh?
Were they on a Series X?
No, he was on.
Well, that's weird, because it happened to me and Fireman on our Series X. He disconnected twice. I disconnected once.
Arctic didn't disconnect at all.
No, I was the only one with the console, and the only time I ever disconnected was 16 hours into the run. My console crashed, and then I had to start everything up again, and it was fine. But yeah,
our day one raid experience. Well, like you said, ultra buggy. A lot of us. Me personally, Arctic at one point, I said it earlier, but I'm gonna say this on Restream. He just went. I was like, Arctic has left the building.
That was 18 hours in. We were on the final hour.
It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think the last I looked, and I remember I was sitting at my screen and I was doing this, things were happening, but I had no consciousness of what was actually going on. But I'm like, I'm killing stuff. I'm doing my job. Be proud, don't die. And and then I realized, I was like, wait a second. And then we wiped, and next thing I knew, I went, what? And then they're all laughing at me. Arctic can attest to that. So.
We sat here for like 5 minutes laughing at the fact that DP had fallen asleep on us and was straight up snoring into the mic. It was one of the best moments of that raid. But the thing I'll give our team is we powered through the Sparrow part and the first encounter relatively quickly. It was like that. 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And even though we were stuck on A-tracks the entire time, none of us were getting upset at each other. We were still cracking jokes. We were still having fun. Yep. And, I'd be more than happy to do it again with any of those guys. It was a great time. It sucks because after contest mode and we finally got through A-tracks, it's like, so how's the rest of the raid? We got through the rest of the raid. It's like, we could have had this. We could have had the day one clear. Easily. Had we gotten past A-tracks. So
it was that stupid A-tracks and the bugs, and just our favorite was bullets around corners.
I found a few ways around that.
Yeah, honestly, there weren't we weren't really dying. No. It was more so a lapse in judgment, or a miscommunication. Like we get the final stand and a miscommunication of where the final boss the final replicant was at, and we get there so many times, and once we hit that final hour, it was rough. I mean, we were all basically just asleep at that point. And
Arctic said his hands were like stiff into position of holding the controller, and that they hurt. He had not gamed ever that long.
Yeah, I've gamed,
or it hasn't. It's been a long time since you gamed to the point that your hand hurt.
Right here, it felt like it was bruised.
In high school, I shattered my right hand playing football. Totally on a tangent, but I have a lot of issues with like pre-arthritis in it already, and so when I'm playing that long, man, it hurt. It really hurt, but I was pushing through. We were really hoping we were going to get through A-tracks, and we just never did. So, but now I'm sitting here not even a week later with 15 clears of the raid, and I'm a very happy boy.
I got 13 myself.
Yeah, I'm excited to go through it with you guys and be like, yeah, this is fun, because I think I really enjoy trying to figure things out. We had a lot of fun figuring things out.
We 3-manned the first encounter yesterday, so it's a breeze.
Big shout out to Bodhi and Mirza for figuring out the first encounter for us. You guys came in clutch.
And then on A-tracks, we just blame Bodhi for everything.
It is Bodhi's fault.
It's all Bodhi's fault. It's all Bodhi's fault.
We were all pretty good in that one until the bullets.
Just don't ask me about my cheese spot.
Who was it that kept getting hit around the corner by bullets, Maddie? Because they was pissing them off. Like every time who the fuck has shoots bullets around corner, Budgie? Like,
that sounds like a Stranger Famous kind of thing.
It might have been Stranger.
Yeah.
That does kind of sound like Strange, doesn't it?
Because Strange did end up finding a really good spot to kind of like hide down below. And we also did, I don't know if you guys did this, but at one point, so it kind of started off, it was, who was upstairs? It was me.
It was you, because I was downstairs with Fireman and I think Stranger. No, Stranger was upstairs. He was the operator.
Yeah, and at one point we kind of mixed it up a little bit, because I know I started on upstairs, and then after a while I'm like, hey guys, let's switch it up. And at first everyone's like, yeah, but I don't know that, and I'm like, trust me, we're gonna be in here for a while.
Yeah, because you took over Red Room, I took over the middle, and the only problem I'd have is the servitor like going through the doorway into Maddie's room. I'm like, I can't shoot the servitor, Maddie. He's in your room again. And she'd see him like going, like hiding in the door frame, like being a little douche. Like I hated him.
And yeah, so we did do kind of a couple times we switched it up. We changed somebody from upstairs to downstairs or vice versa.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what I do is when I'm raid training, that's what I'll do. If I feel like we're kind of stuck, like we've done this encounter, 5-6 times and we're not getting past a certain point, I'm like, it's time to switch up roles. Let's do, you go here and you go here. And then let's try it for a while, see what it does.
That is the one thing I'll say about our team is we kind of lacked the flexibility to swap things up when we were struggling.
Yeah.
There are definitely a few times where it was like, okay, so you've messed this up a couple times on named person.
Swap. No,
let's swap. No, I got it. And it's not directed at anyone because we all did it.
Yep.
And so I think the next time we do it, it's just understanding that even though we know what to do, we just have to be more flexible in our execution of it.
I'll say it was the most understanding and willing team I've ever actually raided with, because regardless of who was brought up an idea, we tried it because no one knew the raid. So whenever anyone would suggest something, we would make sense if it didn't make sense, with the way we explained it. But we ended up making sense of it. Big, shout out to Twinkle and his OCD. But and everyone put into that raid their ideas. And I think at some point, every single person, we went with that idea. And it was the right way to do it. We just couldn't execute as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, the one thing I kind of thought too was, well, if we switch this up and other people start learning new positions, then that should help us. Because you know how raids go, where all of a sudden shit goes south, but because everybody knows what's going on, somebody can just step in. Oh, you died, but you've got this. Boom, I got it. You go res them. I'll take care of this. When you get to know things, you can jump in. You can help out without like freaking out because you're like, yep, I got this. We're good. Let's go. So I kind of thought, well, if we switch it up, maybe this will help us do that, where if we get in some of these clutch moments where you're really dependent on one person to do their job, hey, let's figure out somebody else to also know, maybe not take over, but to also know that job so that way they can fill in if needed.
Yeah.
And nobody on our team stuck out as dying more, living more.
It's all Bodie's fault.
I mean,
it is Bodie's fault. It's always Bodie's fault.
It's all Bodie's fault.
The other thing that surprised me was the jump puzzle. I absolutely loved it. I had no problems with it.
Yeah.
That moonwalk outside of the third encounter is my favorite part of that entire thing. The deep stone lullaby and jumping through space is probably
that was cool.
I will say the best thing Destiny ever does is make you feel small. When you feel small and you're like, wow, this is really cool. More of that, please.
Yo, and I love that they muffled everything in space. That was great. But do you know that the extra chest on the outside, spacewalk is not the actual route that you're supposed to go? The actual route is to the right.
We do it anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, we got the chest, and I went down because we were trying to figure out where to go, and I got stuck there for a while because as they jumped forward, it spawned like 20 turrets that were shooting me. So I had to get rid of all these turrets before I could actually go up and shanks before I could go up and join them. And I passed Maddie. She was like, "I hate this."
The damn shanks, man.
Yeah, they got to that point where it spawned a whole bunch behind us, and they were all shooting me as I was trying to get up.
I'm like, slow down.
All right, so
please.
We've had our raid stories, and we've talked about Beyond Light. Well, let's get to what we said could possibly be a big spoiler for anyone who's watching. Clovis Bray being Banshee.
Yes, I thought that was pretty amazing, but it confused me because I always thought Clovis was insane, which is why he was doing the things he was doing. I didn't know he was just egotistical and a madman, because my impression of him when you look at all the lore is like he's secretive, he's crazy, he's like a mad scientist. They're a little crazy. So
he's Asher Mir times 10.
Yeah, so that's when I realized that's who he was. Everything just started to make more sense. But I was confused about the time travel aspect. But I can also see where the idea that the Vex are actually future exos could come into play since they're all kind of made of the same material. And if she can time travel, then obviously they will have to. And maybe the exo hive mind starts to take control, Clovis. And I see where that theory could come into play now.
Yeah, you think the lore is fucking no. Let's get into time travel. Woo!
Yeah. So there was a thought that I had at some point the other day when I was just grinding the legendary Lost Sector, that when you listen to all the stories and she has to kill Anna in her timeline where the darkness has actually taken over, does that mean that in future expansions we may get, say, almost like a side quest to the story to where you are time traveling, but you play as the Exo Stranger possibly?
It wouldn't be any different than the Ascendant Plane.
Exactly.
Exactly. From like Taken King and
so that could be an interesting backstory leading up to D1, where we first saw her, and then kind of ties into D2 to what was in between that entire time period of 5 years that we don't know.
They will just do it as lore, and you'll have to read it, because I feel we should have gotten a cutscene of Sagira sacrificing herself. Like, that's something you should have been able to see. That would have been pretty epic moment. But no, they just wrote it off. You read it, and it's like, okay, whatever. And just like when we saw Aldrin come back, and now he's just there. It's like, whatever. I think it would be fun to have that idea, but they won't do it. They'll just do it like a memory quest, or it would be fun to see, but I'm just afraid they would just lure it and do a quick like Ascendant Plane challenge and be done.
Cutscenes are expensive, folks.
Yep.
Well, not if you do them the way that they did after the raid was done. They did like that motion comic.
Yeah,
so, like those are fine.
So where do we think the Veil is going to come into play this season?
I don't think there is going to be a Veil.
There's supposed to be a new enemy, they said. Bungie said it themselves. There is a new enemy. Is that...
They've been saying that for years, though. And then they said at some point in time the Veil aren't going to be there.
Yeah, the Veil is actually just another reskin of the Fallen.
Wearing sheets, like, ooh, be afraid of us.
There we go. But can we all agree that the statue in the Deep Stone Crypt is absolutely amazing?
Yes.
It blew my mind when you noticed that the cloak is moving.
Yeah.
On the statue. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a lot of looking at stuff while we were in the raid, because
when we go in the raid tonight, we'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't notice it was moving.
But I think there's more to that statue, and maybe it's just me wishing. But if you look at it, it's the Deep Stone Crypt, right? And you see, a stasis and ice above her head, but you notice that it's kind of like it kind of put a barrier around itself with the way that the stasis hits, and it was looking almost like an eggshell shape. Because I jumped on top of it, I looked up, I looked under, everything. So I feel that whatever is underneath that sheet is still alive, but it's in a dormant state to protect itself. So I'm thinking that might come in later on in the season.
Well, and you almost have to think of these as like seeds. I mean, you go into Shadowkeep and you find the pyramid ship in the moon, and you find the Veil statue there, and you go into the Black Garden and Garden of Salvation, you find the Veil statue there. You kind of have to think that they've been here the entire time.
Well, we've seen the pyramid ship since D1, since the very start of D1, and we've never known up until now.
Yeah.
And we still don't know, honestly. But I think later on in the season, we will get our new enemy, which is...
I don't think it'll be this season. I think it'll be something that I don't even think it's going to be next season. I think if last year's content release cycle is anything to be indicative of, is that the first two seasons will be, pretty solid, and then the third season will start ramping down, kind of like, Worthy was, and that's probably where they're going to dump Vogue at because it's content. And then, you look at the final season before Witch Queen, and you have potential there.
big stories. Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling this one's going to end up. I don't think we've seen the last of the AI. Can't even say his name.
Clovis.
Clovis.
Yeah.
Because he has a giant head. Where's the rest of the body? Like
it is Banshee. That was
the giant
Clovis
head
one.
that's down there. And
well, in the lore, it was just the giant
Just
head,
the
which was
head,
just
yeah.
to maintain the AI, and then you had the body that was supposed to act like the
it's
body.
because he was so egotistical. Just the inside underneath, the little head and all is the actual AI. But instead of leaving it exposed, he kind of put it in exo form because I'm the creator of the exo, so I'm going to make this look. I think it was an egotistical thing.
I want to see a giant robot fight. I really do, because I enjoy the fallen BattleTech pods that drop. I love fighting those fallen bots.
The Briggs.
Yeah. I call them the BattleTech pods because that's what I'm used to. I love fighting them. Like I will find the wandering one that's like super death and just spend 5 minutes killing it just because I love fighting them. I love fighting them. I want to fight.
So this is a bad
robots.
time to let you know that Lament will one combo them.
Yeah,
oh, that's fine. I will go and one combo those mofos. I will blow them up. My only problem is I've only done one of the heroic one that involves those because I have a hard time shooting the one that moves around, the little scanners that move.
Yeah.
And these people are always there and they shoot like just over here, over there. And I'm trying to shoot the one that's moving. I've got everything else done, and they disappear. So I have a hard time turning that one into heroic, but I can turn everything else into heroic as usual. But it's a lot of fun fighting those. And then the weather hits up and you can't see very far. And you're like, they're out there somewhere. I can see their little yellow eyes.
So with the raid being out, most people have a few clears.
Just a few.
Yeah, I have 13. You have 16. You have 1.
I have 1.
I have like
second.
3 or 4.
3 or 4. See, that's my girl, Maddie. Get on your game, Slayton. But no.
I walked away from Destiny after that 9 o'clock point hit me in that raid. I dropped that controller and said, I'm not coming back till closer to Thanksgiving.
That's okay, because Twinkle did the exact same thing. He has not been back on the game.
No. So now that everything's out and everything's, the news starting to wind down off of it, and everyone's around 1260 light, things like that with artifact power. Like I just, finished my season pass today. So where do we head from here? What do you think is actually coming? Because I see nothing on the horizon on the roadmap.
Well, I know we have a Christmas
I'll tell
event.
you, we have Hawkmoon, and then we have Dawning, and we also have Cyberpunk and Valhalla that I need to go play.
And do you really? Yeah, there's your Maddie right there. Look, I'm playing Valhalla. I'll come play Among Us for a little bit, but
But he's got a priority straight. Let's go.
They have to do something because they gave us an awful lot awfully fast.
They really did.
I think want to go back in and do some, get back in and do Wrathborns and do some of that.
I've already found that boring.
I haven't. I know it's kind of boring.
I don't want to go through the story again on both of my characters or my two secondary characters and get stasis again.
I've done it. Got it all out the way.
So I don't know. I'll probably come in and do some of that stuff and do more on Europa. Do those hunts again. I'm wondering, maybe you guys know. So when you go into his
lure
square rectangle at the top, and he's got 3 rows of stuff to do.
Oh yeah.
Has additional stuff unlocked yet?
I have unlocked everything on the lures, and I've upgraded him completely.
Or are you talking about Varix?
She's talking about Varix, the sabotage.
It's all unlockable right now.
Yeah,
it's just I've got
through a couple step quests to unlock it.
Okay, so it was just that first couple weeks it wasn't unlockable?
Yeah.
It was right after the raid that unlocked the quests to unlock the rest of his stuff.
I think they're going to give us harder wrath hunts. Maybe some more options would be nice. I don't like the having to charge them because, if it were faster to charge them, I could see that.
It depends on the modifiers. Like mine right now has defeat powerful enemies and strike. So I load up, Lake of Shadow like everyone else that is not running that on the planet. I go into the Lost Sector. I kill, the 2 Shanks. I kill the captain about halfway, then 2 more shanks pop up, and each one of those yellow bars are 10%.
So I'm on the 4th level of that, 5th level now actually. So I'm going to lock that soon. I enjoy them, but they're very repetitive, so I'm not going to enjoy them much longer.
Nope.
They have to be going somewhere. They have to be going somewhere to the story. They have to be doing something with Aldrin and Spider in that story. They have to be doing something. So maybe it's going to shift from Europa to the Tangled Shore and those 2 next, which would be a nice transition.
I don't see the Dawning being any different.
I don't either.
I just want to cook my cookies and get my XP, man.
I don't need any
what the
XP
armor
anymore.
set's going to be. That's all I care about.
The armor sets are always fantastic for the Dawning. So
The
and I
first
always
year
buy
they
them
weren't,
all.
though.
That's a good point. But since then, year 2 and year 3, especially for warlocks, are
very cool looking. Like I love the raid armor. I've got the chest, but I really, really have to say I love the Monster Hunter inspired ornaments from the season pass. I think that is 100% amazing. Like yes, finally, because some of them I don't like. Like I don't buy them because they're just really ugly. I'm a vanity whore. I'm a huge vanity whore. But this, I was like, yes, I want those ornaments. I'm going to be super happy with them. Still have never seen the Gnawing Hunger ornament, but it exists.
Somewhere. All it does is give you a nice glowy little barrel.
Oh, that's fine.
Just like the rest of them.
Because I use Gnawing Hunger like all the time. I'm not now right now.
I'm doing my best to wean myself off of Gnawing Hunger and use more stuff like Posterity.
Oh,
well, I have given it up for Trustee, so I carry it around, but I'm using Trustee primarily.
Let's talk about the raid weapons and how good they all are.
They really look so fantastic. That's right. You got nothing but armor, didn't you?
Oh, wow.
Well, even the raid armor looks really good. It all looks good. And
I haven't gotten a good roll on it yet, though.
The raid weapons. This is the first time in a long time we've gotten good raid weapons with a good raid perk.
Excluding the
reconstruction.
Excluding is amazing.
So top tier perks that have come out of this raid, and the top 2 is Resurrection and Recombination. Those 2 perks together.
Reconstruction.
I'm sorry. Reconstruction and Recombination together are it's especially on the sniper, which I have that role. I call it my mini icebreaker. If anyone,
I loved icebreaker. I was so good with that.
Get that role, and you will not be disappointed.
I will try to get that role.
Turns everything into unlimited ammo. I don't know how many activities I've gone through with Posterity and not had to reload once.
Yep,
it's great. I love it.
Yes. I have that on Trustee, so it's very, very nice. But we're going to do the raid tonight, so hopefully Maddie will get some weapons this time. And I'll get armor this time.
Oh, right. It's not reset yet. Well, we'll have to do it tomorrow then.
So
I'm free all weekend because a couple of people are going.
I'm free all the time.
As long as y'all message me, I can be free. I just have to plan things around when I do.
I still need
another show this week, so
I still need some time in Phasmophobia with.
You just need to message me because I did buy it.
Arctic refuses. Arctic's a big chicken.
On. If I can play it, you can play it.
I'm good.
He's seen my streams with it and other people's streams, and he goes, "No, not for me. I don't like that jump scare thing."
I'm okay with that.
I'm a bit of a puss. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this episode then of us talking about raid weapons, raid stories, Beyond Light, having all sorts of fun. We'll be back in a couple weeks. We'll probably pre-record a couple another show before Christmas. So if we don't see you guys before then, have a good Christmas. Play Beyond Light. We'll probably do some more live shows coming up in the future as we figure out everything we like doing, what we don't like doing, because I love doing live. Just talking is fun. And so, yeah, we'll see you guys next time. If you want to join the clan, it's bulletheads.org. The website is up. I've been sending people to it, so they find it much easier to sign up that way. So whoever built the website, kudos to you.
Ammo Blaster. I think he actually made a comment from Facebook. I think that's him.
Yes.
Chris.
Where?
Chris Simmons?
No, that's a friend of mine.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I should know better than that. I bought
live.
Demos Elgato. I should know better than that.
So yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks with a new episode. Of course, we want to see your clips. Message us on Discord, and also I will put the photon file for the ornament up on Discord. If you have a resin printer, you can print it away. It's ready to go. Just make sure it's flat on the plate. I'm going to tell you that right now. Don't use supports. Flat on the plate and peel it off. You're good to go. And then if you want some of those, I'll have some probably by next fall for Bulletheads. So just pay attention to the fun things we do and talk about. Thank you guys. We're going to go probably stream our fun game sessions doing this raid real quick because they're going to make me look like an idiot because they know what they're doing much faster than I do.
I got you, man. I'm going to embarrass you plenty enough, I promise.
Oh, you bring it on. I am perfectly fine with that.
Your operator
I'll hit a
in the
wall.
very first encounter.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Arctic.
That'll
Look,
probably
I'm not
take
here.
me a little while. Like after we get past the first encounter,
I
can
have
just banner
faith.
till we're like all over the place. But I will probably burn a lot as operator at the beginning because
That's okay.
that's okay. We want to see you burn.
Learning.
It's all about and so at some point in time, I have someone I'd like us to take through to see how you guys train now that I've done it.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure you have plenty of raid trainers, so.
We have lots.
Yeah, I want to see how it plays out because he's dying to do it. It's Grizzly Ninja. He is dying to do it. Like he is grinding to get up there so he can get in there and do it. I was like, well, let me know.
12:30 is bare minimum, is what I would say.
He's like 12:32 now.
Okay,
at the
he's
next
good.
Meetings, we'll be discussing when we're going to open raid trainings back up.
From my knowledge with Vid and your mystery and all them, Vid is saying December 19th, depending on the training. Maybe
I didn't want to
December
drop
12th.
a date in case that wasn't.
Yeah,
Look, I
There's
said
no
possibly.
date.
I said possibly.
Well, that's good, 'cause
we've all had our discussions in the server. So
I have the
then
3
I'll
medallions
hush.
for the bow that I need someone to help me with. So
The what?
the 3 medallions for the bow, I think you've got to
Holy
go back
crap.
through.
The Wishender.
is still
Yeah, the
fun.
Wishender. I
still have those
3 medallions. Like,
I still have those on my hunter, and I don't know why, because I originally got it on my hunter, and I took like so many people through that, did the same thing, and for some reason, just one day, it's like here's 3 more, and I can't get them out.
At the beginning of the season, it gave a bunch of people all the tokens again, and I think the quest is still bugged where you can't even deposit the tokens and continue it.
well,
I just want them out of my
haven't
inventory. I
get
want to
that at some
delete
point in
them.
time. All right,
I
so
just want
that's
to point
it.
out that we have become a Midwestern goodbye right here.
Yeah, we're
Sometimes we try
We're out
to
of
say
time.
goodnight and we keep going.
we're gonna go
Look,
play.
I can do it real quick. If you ever watch my streams, hey, I love you. Thank you all. I gotta go. Peace.
Be quiet. It's okay. It's okay. Goodbye.
Okay, all right, so that's it. We'll see you guys in a few weeks with episode 4. Let us know what you think on Discord and come watch us do the raid.